All right, so I want to talk about creating a mood board. And the prompt that I'm working off of for myself for this example is going to be a pirate party. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do is uh, try and find some images that are going to uh, illustrate my idea or help me research for pirate. And this is something that's going to aid me in creating hopefully a nice thumbnail that kind of speaks to the themes of private pirates and of course parties. I also want to see if I can find some things that are like colors that kind of feel piratey or maybe tropical. So the mood board is really something that will help you frame your idea early on, so you don't have to go directly to paper. You don't have to start with a thumbnailing process. You can actually stop, make a mood board, and it'll help you kind of gather your thoughts a little bit and also help you with the research. So it's something that comes out a little bit more authentic in the final product. Another thing is for my assignments, I'm looking for about 10 to 15 um, the little images, and that will include the color swatches, and I am looking for font choices as well. So let's go ahead and find out if I can find some things that are for pirates or pirate themed. So I'm going to go and find, I'm in my new document in Photoshop, I'm going to hit print so I can find the letter. And since it's on letter already, it's going to be the right resolution for me. Orientation, I'm going to change it to landscape because that's what I prefer. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit create because I don't really seem to have a preference of anything else as far as like margins. So let me just make my screen a little bit smaller. Make my page a little bit smaller. And let me see. Let's squish this down. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, there's a couple things I can do. I'm just going to go to Google Images. For this assignment, I'm asking you to cite your images that you find. So if you want, you can get like a little piece of paper or you can copy paste the URL on this, like on the side. Maybe you open up a Word document or you're already in Canvas, so you can find your way back. There is a separate module that talks about how to cite information where I have linked a website that will help you cite them properly, and you can go ahead and put them in the comment field. But I'm just going to make the mood board for today, and I'll let you guys worry about the citation yourself. Okay, that's not too bad. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and just type in pirate. Oops. All right, so first thing you get is Johnny Depp. That's natural, I guess. And then I see here that I have some suggestions. Ship, skull, anime. All right, whatever. Steampunk, transparent. Okay, so lots of good things to start thinking about. But I kind of like to think about like the Jolly Roger, and then I forgot like maybe red might be a big thing. I have like this eye patch, and I know that this is like really silly, but this looks like a pirate to me. So I can go ahead and save as or pull this image, or I can just drag and drop it right into my Photoshop file. So that'll help you out. I'm going to hold shift as I resize this up. This is probably a very low resolution image. I'm going to hit enter. All right, so that's there. So that's one. Great. I think I might try and find a ship. That's a very pretty ship. I can drag and drop it from here as well, but it's always going to be a small image when I come from this side of Google. If I want a larger one or the more accurate one, I'd have to actually go in to this And then this would be the actual dimension. Let's see if it wants to copy. Just double check. Mid layers. Yep, that's still there. Yeah, so this doesn't want to come over. So the way I'll do this is going to be a right click, and I can save image as, and I'll save it to my desktop, and I'll rename it as ship. So let's find it on my desktop. There it is. Drag it into my Photoshop file, and you can see that it's like the larger size. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink that down. And mood boards are going to be mostly for your use, or if you're communicating with a client, you're saying, hey, is this what you're looking for? They can actually go ahead and say, oh, well, you know, I like this style of pirate versus that style of pirate. Or you can negate the whole things, and once they see what a real pirate party looks like, they'll say, oh, actually, I meant tropical vacation. You know, and you're just like, okay, I guess I'm starting all over again, which does happen. All right, let me go ahead and get out of this. I can actually, ooh, this is neat. Kind of inspirational here with the sunset. I like that. So these are like my main core images. I kind of want a palm tree or something. I don't know if this is accurate to pirates, but I would have to research that a little bit harder. I kind of like this. This is nice. One, two, three, four. Okay, let me just go ahead I'm gonna go to Google Fonts real quick. And let's go to Google Fonts. I'm gonna type in the word over here. Oh, excuse me. Party. And see if this will apply to all the fonts. So I'm gonna hit apply to all fonts, and I can see what ones look kind of piratey. There's a few things that I can start looking for. I can look for a serif font, which is the kind that has a little foot on it. This is a sans serif font. I don't believe that looks very piratey. It looks very modern. Let's go ahead and see if I can go to my categories. I'm going to take off the serif and sans serif. I want handwriting. Actually, maybe I'll throw it. No, I want handwriting. So I can start thinking about what type of, you might find also that some of these aren't necessarily handwritten fonts, but they're more script. I kind of like this, but that T is so hard to read. It looks like a J. I quite like this, even though it doesn't seem to be, it feels like a 1960s font. This looks a little bit more swashbuckly, but without being too flourishy, and it's something that is retaining the legibility. So I'm going to go ahead and use Shift Command 4, and then take a picture of this, a screenshot of this, and then that will save it to my desktop. So that's saved to my desktop. I can keep going. maybe I can find something that looks more piratey. This is interesting. I kind of like this, softer edges. This is actually really quite nice. So I'm going to go ahead and shift command 4 that. And notice it tells you like how many styles is underneath that. That's something that you might have, like, you know, bold or a different kind of style underneath, but yeah. All right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and call that a day. I think between that and, let me just go back down. So I'm gonna actually drag my window here, grab my screenshots, oops, to hit return, and grab my screenshots, hit return, grab my screenshot, hit return. Gonna resize that real quick. Return. Where is my layers? Bring those up. I'm currently working in, I think, the essentials format. Yeah, that's what this party is. And then I'm holding shift so I can retain this. Notice that whenever I import in a new item, that it is going to come in as a new layer. And it's labeling the layer after what that is. So ship, that came from the desktop, you can see, but these two guys came from Google directly. And then this is also something that was able to be imported in. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. Let's go ahead and start making some swatches. Maybe I can find 4 main colors that I quite enjoy. You don't want to have too many colors or like a total spectrum or rainbow of colors. You just want some main colors that you can use. I wouldn't put in black or white in your colors as well, because there's really no point. We know that you're going to probably use one of those colors in the future, black and white. But for instance, I'm going to go ahead and use an eyedropper and maybe some squares and make some color schemes from this. So I'm going to go and let's grab a square. I'm going to hold shift so it's an actual square. And notice that my properties window comes up here. It's the same information here with my set fill shape here. Set fill shape is also up here for the square itself. But I'm going to go to, let's see if I can go to Eyedropper Tool. And I can click and drag and hold. And, oops. It looks like my secondary color is what's being picked out here, but I'm going to go ahead and switch it to that first one. So my foreground color is a little bit different. Kind of like that green though. That's fine. And then when I click on this little square, that's the same properties as my rectangle one. I can actually go into this recently used colors and then change the color of my square. If I'd like to, I'm going to go ahead and use the move tool to highlight it. Let me see how many more things I need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I need 4 more colors. So I'm going to just copy paste the same square 4 times, or I guess 3 times. So I'm meeting my minimum requirement. And let's go back to the eyedropper tool and see if I can find some other cool colors that I can use in my poster. Quite like that. I'm going to go to my recently used colors, and then the last rectangle that was highlighted was actually changed here, which is fine. I'm just going to go to my rectangle 3, find another color. All right, and then I kind of want a green, so going to this other rectangle here. Quite like this orange too, but you know, hey. And I want to make sure that they're not all mid-tones. I want some darks and some lighter ones, so I actually might go back in and change. Things around. I can zoom in. I'm going to just hit Command plus holding spacebar and dragging so I can get really in there into these little weeds. Now I can change this to this color. And then I think for my first rectangle, I'm actually going to grab this ocean blue color. It's nice. All right, so I'm going to zoom out. Let's see what my color swatches look like. So I have a mix of kind of dark and lights and maybe a mid-tone. I could, of course, add more colors as I go, but this is something that is going to be very basic. I can continue even adding more to my mood board in general, considering I kind of I think I still need a little bit more work on this. I think I would continue making more work on this. I actually want some buried treasure. So let's see if I can find a buried treasure. All right, yeah, that's what I want. One of these. All right. And then I can go through and move these babies around using the Move tool. In the Move tool, I'm able to move individual assets, so that's pretty nice. I'm clicking right on them. And then some people do like to label the actual thing like Pirate Party or whatnot, but I do want to take a look at what this looks like. Everything looks pretty neat. I'd probably find another font just in case, and then also find some things that are lowercase or try some numbers if that's what I'm planning to use. So that's just a little bit about how you can start a mood board. This is not the most perfect mood board, but I just kind of quickly put this together. I could spend a little bit more time on this, but that's a good way of kind of getting started and kind of understanding what your motif or what your theme is. All right, so let's go ahead and save. I'm going to go and save this. It'll be my last name, first name, I personally like to do it this way, so PSD, mood, board, that's fine, great. Saving in Photoshop style, I'm gonna hit save, click on OK for maximize compatibility, and then I'll go back and I'll export it as a JPEG if you would like to export it this way, or what you can do is actually go to save as, so file, save as, so two different ways of doing this, and saving it as a JPEG, which is my own preferred. And then maximum quality, click OK. And that is making a mood board.